Kiara, and I am sharing this video with everyone with a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of nervousness, but still feel like it needs to be done. A lot of people know me as this Christian girl, this good girl, very private and reserved, which is true. There's a lot of expectations as a Christian woman, as a reserved person. You don't always see that there's issues. I don't walk around with my issues showing, or I'm not going to tell 50 people what I'm going through. I'm not going to post about it. That's just not me. However, if I feel that I can help others and to break those expectations of perfection, then I'm going to do that. I would say that yes, I'm strong and I'm a Christian, but I do not have it all together. And a lot of times what I'm going to be talking about is not talked about. It's kind of shut down with just pray, have faith, and it takes a little bit more than that. Definitely believe in those things, but it's something to be talked about, it's something to be discussed, and it's something to not be alone in. So I want to talk about anxiety and depression that I have dealt with and continue to work through. I started noticing that I was dealing with anxiety like around high school, but I didn't really know what that was. That was like a while back. And so I would kind of be anxious a lot of times, really worrisome. And because I'm such a reserved person, I didn't really reach out about it or, share anything. It was just like, okay, deal with it. But then as an adult, I started really getting like the physical, I started getting headaches and migraines and like actual pain in my head and neck from just being so full of anxiety and, just different things in life really affecting me. And I probably didn't know how to cope with it really well. So I ended up having a lot of weird symptoms from anxiety, like not being able to breathe, and things like that. I went to the doctor and I told her how I was feeling, and she told me that I was dealing with chronic depression, or I think it's called chronic depressive disorder or something like that. And I was kind of discouraged because I'm like, dang, I'm actually depressed. Like, this is crazy. I was losing a lot of weight. People thought I was working out. People would say, oh my gosh, you look so good. What have you been doing? And I would be honest and I would say, I don't eat. And they would laugh, not knowing that, no, I seriously wasn't eating. I literally ate popcorn and cuties all the time. I noticed that a lot of people were posting this stuff about suicide prevention or suicide earlier this month. And I was like, why is everybody posting about this? Like, all of a sudden, what's going on? I started thinking about myself and just everything that I had been going through recently, noticing that I felt a little different. My emotions were a lot more touchy. I was more irritable, more angry, tired, just a lot of different stuff. And I was like, but I'm not depressed, I'm good. I was like, my anxiety is a little shaken, but I'm good. On August 18th of this year, I got up, it was a Sunday, got ready for church, didn't really have anything else to do, so I went home, even posted a selfie, I think, but went home, and I was like, I need to watch something funny. So I put on something on Netflix, some comedy show, and it was funny. And I made food and I ate. And so in my mind, I'm not really that depressed. I'm eating, I'm going to church, I'm good. I got a lot to do. I had a lot going on. Month of August, I had something to do every weekend. I had a lot. Even after watching the show, eating my food, I just felt so down. I just started to think of taking my life. I started having these thoughts of suicide, and it kind of scared me because I didn't even know I was like dealing with depression. I thought I was fine. I just had a lot going on. And it got to the point where I started thinking of how I would do it. Now, this is not a video to tell you that I'm crying out for help or anything like that. This is to show you that I'm past that. But in that moment, I felt very alone. And it's not because I didn't have anyone. I ignored how I had been feeling. And I didn't want to be in that place. I didn't want to be depressed because I've been depressed before, and so I didn't want to address that. However, when those thoughts came, I felt alone. I was embarrassed. I felt like, what the heck? Why am I even thinking like this? So I didn't feel like I wanted to reach out to anyone that was close to me or anything, because I felt embarrassed. So I had the national prevention or the suicide prevention hotline on my phone, and I was like, I guess I'll text it. Like, I don't know what else to do with these thoughts. And so I texted it, and they're like, it may be a while, we're busy. And so we talked. Me and the lady talked, or we texted, and eventually I was like, it kind of distracted me. I wouldn't say I was like better all of a sudden, but it did distract me from those thoughts, and I moved on. To me, life goes on, so I moved on from that. I had been reminded that there's someone that I was very close to in high school. She was one of my best friends. I'd taken her life earlier this year, right around her birthday, actually. And I remember finding out, and I was in shock. But the next day, I cried really hard once I really thought about what had happened, because I was like, there's no going back. I'm never going to know how she felt in that moment when she decided to take her life. And I remember crying because I was so sad and upset that she did not know. She will never see like the fullness of her life. How did it get to a point where she felt so alone? Or how did it get to a point where she didn't know the love of God, to where she took her life? And then I thought about myself, and I'm like, I just had those thoughts. And I reached out to a friend who is a therapist, and I just said, am I suicidal? Like, what is going on? I've had thoughts when I was younger about different things, and now I'm realizing that I deal with anxiety and depression. Like, what? And she was like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to be embarrassed about this. You can reach out. You can, take care of this and deal with this and move forward. And she's like, but don't ignore it. Do not ignore it, because it is a slippery slope. And in that moment, I thought, okay, like, I'm going to be okay. So my biggest thing for sharing this is not because I'm completely like over anxiety and depression. That would be a lie. It's definitely something that it's a challenge for me, but I still find myself as victorious, because I know that I don't have to be embarrassed about this. I know that I'm not alone, and I don't say that in a cliche way. I just recently opened up to, literally 2 people about this, and that really helped me to see that I'm not alone. But the biggest thing for me, it's not because I go to church. It's not because someone sent me in scripture. All of that is great, but my personal relationship with God is the reason why I don't give up. It's the reason why, even in my deepest, darkest times, I have hope somehow, because I really don't know how or why, but I know that I have purpose. It breaks me so much to know that other people are broken, that I'm like, no, I have to be here, because I need other people to know God. I need other people to know Jesus, and to know their worth and that they have purpose. If you're here, if you're watching this, or if you're sharing this, or whoever, whatever, like, you have purpose. I don't have all the answers, but I do have love. I have advice. I have an ear. I love to listen. And so if you need someone, feel free to reach out. If you want to know more about God, I'm definitely here for that. And resources, I can do my best to help. And in light of all this, I had decided to start a campaign that I will give more details on later. But for the month of October, I will be taking some time to just give tips and have conversations about self-love and self-care. I don't want those words to just be things we keep saying and hashtagging. I really want it to be something that we all take into consideration as men and women. I know I'm a woman, so this might speak more to a lot of women, but I pray that this can also speak to men too. because men, we need you. You're just as important as us mentally and emotionally. So I definitely want to share and hear from others what they're doing to love themselves, to care for themselves, because we only have this one life here on earth, and I want to enjoy it. So I want you to enjoy it with me as well. So thank you for watching this, and I would love to hear from you personally, comments, whatever.